What's going on, food fans? It is soup season. What's
yeah.
the reason for the season? I don't know.
One pot.
One pot. All right. So we keep saying that you should be using our seasonings in a multitude of ways, not just grills. So here is another fantastic hearty dish. One pot, super easy, but crushes it.
Yeah, this one's easily one of my favorite non-traditional chilies. It's a pork and butternut squash chili. People are like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no ground beef here. There's, other than the tomato and some of the familiar spices in it, it's otherwise a departure.
Right.
On purpose, because, you make the chili, you get this, you get that. It's always nice to do a little something different.
This one straddles the line between chili and stew.
It does. It does very close.
Yeah.
And they're obviously the purists will be like, that's not chili at all. And for me, it doesn't matter. You can call it a chili. You can call it a stew. We call it a chili just because of the flavor profile that we put in it.
Call me Shirley as long as it tastes good.
But this one, it was pretty simple. We used 3 of our fantastic products. Ante Up, our live fire flavor. Yeah, we use Dirty Gringo because anything Southwest has got to have the Gringo in it. And then we use the Cure. And this is the one that kind of surprises people, I think, in here. But, used right, it's got that sweet heat to it.
Right.
That goes really good right behind Gringo. And then you add the live fire in there.
Did the Cure come about because of the butternut squash? Is that what kind of triggered it, or was there other stuff in there?
Well, it was a combination of that because I wanted to accent that butternut squash a little bit. But truthfully, the black pepper heat that you get in the Cure, the people find out like in a stew or something like that, it really brings it, and it's a nice, warm your body heat, and not a like, oh my God, that hurts heat. So. That's why I kind of like using it and stuff like this. So,
all right, so let's go through exactly what we did to build it.
Yeah. So what we did, we just cubed up some pork chops. So, great thing about it is, pork's relatively inexpensive, and I just got some of the breakfast chops and some butterfly chops, cubed it up, brown it up in the Dutch oven.
Could you use maybe a leftover pork butt or
Absolutely. Like, I love using leftovers when we can here, especially if you smoke the pork butt.
Yeah.
And you don't know what to do with it. Like, take it from cold, cube it up, and use it in here.
Okay.
If you're going to do that, though, add the pork last not first.
Yeah.
Because you don't want it to just shred to pieces. But, so we use the diced up, cubed up pork chop. Then you put your aromatics in there. We did our garlic, our onions, sweat that out. And then we get to the unknown a little bit. So we did do what some people, we did do the fresh jalapeno, but we did some craziness. And this is all on me, But I used a little cauliflower rice in here.
Okay.
I like the texture it adds.
Yeah.
And then we used some different beans. Instead of just using the regular old chili beans, we use garbanzo beans, we use butter beans, we use black-eyed peas, and then we use black beans. Obviously, we seasoned it up with Ante Up, the Cure, Dirty Gringo, and then 2 cans of fire-roasted tomatoes. I like the Hunt's fire-roasted tomatoes. I think they have a really good flavor.
Okay.
And the fire roast on them is nice, the char. But yeah, I mean, this is one of those, it's a little sweet. It's definitely got the heat. It's got the tomato. It's got all the Southwest flavors. But it's got no ground meat, so this is a chunk.
Yeah, chunk chili.
Chunk chili. So,
so once it comes to the boil, with the way you've done it, can you eat it right then, or should we leave it on the stove?
You once you bring it up and you get it there, you can eat it right then. Keep in mind, because we use the cubed pork, the pork may not be as tender. Now, if you're using leftover pork, smoked pork, you're done. You're ready to go. Yeah. But just like any chili or stew,
put it on low for a couple hours.
Yeah, let that pork break down, get tender. Let those tomatoes break down. Let that squash break down.
Right.
Because that's the thing about it. As some of these break down, some of the smaller beans and that cauliflower, it does start to thicken a little bit. And you get this nice, consistency and this blend of flavors that just work really well together.
Let's get in here and take a look at it. Man, that is awesome looking. I love Dutch oven. I love enameled cast iron for just this reason. It maintains the heat, just works.
Well, and it's got that nice heavy lid, so it gives you a good seal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Give that a little
That's
stirry
beautiful.
stir. Man, you're right. It is right on the border of stew versus chili. It's very cool.
Yeah, I mean, you could call it, a rose bite, and the other name is still a sweet kind of thing.
Just don't call you late for dinner.
No.
So you garnish with a little bit of
Yeah, I just like a little bit of sour cream because it's got a good. But yeah, like if you get in here and look, it looks at first glance like the visual of chili. It's just
Right.
you start looking at some of the colors you see, and you're like, wait a minute, I don't
that big
normally
chunk
see
of
that.
the squash. It looks great, man. That squash adds a texture you're not expecting, but it's good.
Well, and just the balance against the chilies, and just texturally, it's just a lot of fun to eat.
This over some cornbread
Oh yeah.
would be nuts. The place to get all the stuff you're going to need to cook this, except for the stuff from the grocery store, is barbecueproshop.com. Hit them up, grab the Flavor Anonymous stuff. You can also add anything else to the cart that's in stock, but they have every one of our rubs, soon to be some new stuff. So always be on the lookout. We always release our stuff at Barbecue Pro Shop first. So go to barbecueproshop.com and buy up all the rubs. Make some soup.
Fill your bowl, fill your belly.
Fill your belly. Till next time.
We'll see ya.